Nick, thanks so much for the warm introduction. I'm super excited about delivering this valuable information. I know it's super valuable because it's had a profound impact on not just our business, but also clients that we work with as well. And really, what's interesting about this is I'm sure that there's some people on the call that have maybe already doing Facebook advertising. Some people may not yet have forayed into it, but maybe thinking about it. But we're going to be talking about a very specific way of doing Facebook advertising with something called Facebook lead ads. And really what's different about this webinar, this training is I'm actually going to walk you through. I'm going to literally take you by the hand, screenshot by screenshot, and share with you exactly how you can implement this in less than 30 minutes for your business. Really, there's, as we know it, I'm sure that this probably isn't the first webinar that you've been on. If that is the case, then welcome to the webinar world. Nice to virtually meet you. But if you've been around GKIC for any length of time and you're committed to your own development and learning and growing your business and taking it to the next level, the chances are that you may have tried things in the past and actually failed at them. You've attended webinars like this, and honestly, there's a lot of information out there, especially when it comes down to things like lead generation and Facebook and online marketing. But this is going to be a bit different because honestly, most of that stuff that you may have had before that may have failed really isn't your fault. Now, if you may have tried something and you couldn't succeed before with possibly Facebook advertising, there might be a very good reason for that. So I can demystify some of those things there. And if you're worried about kind of getting started with Facebook or scaling something that you already have going and you really want to optimize it, then that might be a consideration of yours as well. And as we know it, information doesn't equal transformation. You've actually got to go and take some of this information that really does work, that's working right now and today, and go and put it to work in your business. And that's the reason why I'm going to kind of pull back the curtain and make this as simple and easy for everybody to follow as possible, because really, when it comes down to it, business is about getting and keeping customers, and the former part of getting customers now having a solid online strategy that's going to consistently drive leads into your business is important. What's more even important than that is actually having a system behind it that allows you to follow those leads up and convert them effectively to customers. And if you've been doing Facebook for some time, you might also be wondering whether or not this information is going to cover whether or not you're compliant with Facebook, whether or not as you start to grow and use the platform and have it as a marketing pillar, whether or not you may get what's called the Facebook ban, where your account gets shut down. And what I'm going to share with you here is exactly how you can overcome that and not worry about that. In the Google world, it's called the Google slap. None of these things that I'm going to share with you is going to be an issue in regards to these things. So really, regardless of whatever type of business you're actually in right now, whether it's bricks and mortar, you're a service-based business, you're an information marketer, you're an agency, coach, trainer, consultant, speaker, and you're really looking to break through the frustration of getting more customers with less stress and headache, then this is really for you. This is the place to be, because often when it comes to online lead generation, things can get a little bit confusing. And I'm really going to make this literally paint by numbers for you. So regardless whether you're a beginner and this is completely new to you and you're jumping on, looking to learn something new, looking for a way to grow your business, and you may not have done Facebook advertising, you may not have done any paid advertising online, this will give you the exact blueprint that you need to go and implement something immediately after leaving the webinar. And for those people that are, of course, very familiar with Facebook advertising, what you're going to get here is a very different strategy to what you're doing at the moment with your Facebook ads. because it is fairly little known. Although it may not be completely new, it's fairly not particularly well articulated by Facebook exactly what it does and how it can benefit you. And that really gives you the head start on this when it comes down to actually making this work for you. So for those of you who don't know me and may not have seen me speak at Super Conference or Info Summit, which we'll come back and speak about a little bit later on, I started my own business when I was 15 years old, and I've been lucky enough to grow 4 separate businesses in different sectors, from information marketing, training and coaching, bricks and mortar, and a done-for-you marketing agency where I spend most of my time now. I've been fairly prolific using GKIC's teaching and strategies to scale one of those businesses from 0 to 170 franchisees in less than 4 years, which is pretty cool. And actually, one of those businesses right now uses this exact strategy that I'm going to share with you as well, so you can model it and mirror it for your own business, for your own success. I've got a 9-year-old son, Spencer, and 3-year-old daughter, Sienna, and I love 2 things: cars and watches. Absolutely love them to pieces. So this is my little family, just to give you a little insight into them. And these are some of our businesses. I run a 5-star rated podcast online as well, all about growing through dynamic response marketing, as we put it. And of course, I spend most of my time now in our agency. As Nick mentioned, we're super happy to serve GKIC as their marketing agency of choice, as well as many other people that you might have heard of as well that are also our clients, like Mike Koenigs, Josh Returner, and lots of other people in the online space, as well as many bricks and mortar type business owners and information marketers as well. And as I mentioned, what I'm going to share with you here is super applicable to you. But first of all, before we really dive into it, let's kind of get clear on what the typical lead generation approach is online. And that is running Facebook advertising into an opt-in page, a landing page, or a squeeze page, where you're going to offer somebody, your visitor, something of value that you've promised in your advert. And in exchange for that value, they're going to give you their contact information. You're going to be capturing their first name, their email, possibly their phone number, and that's going to then feed into your CRM system. You're then going to need a thank you page, and then you've got your email follow-up process in place, hopefully with something like Infusionsoft or Drip or ActiveCampaign or Ontraport or some kind of system like that. This is how you generate leads online, and I'm sure it's familiar to most of you. And if it's not, welcome to the world of lead capture. This is how we do it. We spend some money on some ads. We drive them to a page that gives an irresistible offer. We capture their information, and then we begin a short-term nurture process to build a relationship with them over time. And if you're a bricks and mortar business, or really any type of business, really for that fact, that needs to speak to somebody in order to sell to them, then your follow-up may also include follow-up phone calls as well as emails as well. And you may also go offline with some direct mail as well. And that really brings me on to what a lot of people never really think about, which is you must always know how you're going to sell before you go to lead generate. Because quite honestly, buying traffic, what I mean by that is setting up Facebook advertising or setting up Google advertising, is actually not the hard part. The hard and actually generating leads through the sort of process that I just mentioned actually isn't that difficult, okay, when you get it down. But the challenge comes when you've got to think a little bit about your sales process and how you're ultimately going to sell to them. If you're generating leads without a phone number, for example, how are you going to then get those people to provide the information you need to have a meaningful conversation with them? And it's really kind of a failure that most people figure out how they're going to generate new leads instead of worrying about how they're going to sell to them. And so, when I speak on stage, I ask people this question all the time, who here actually needs to speak to somebody in order to sell them something. So they're not an e-commerce business, and they are not selling things autonomously. They actually have a sales process. You know, a vast majority of people put their hands up. Maybe that's you. You can understand how that works right now. And so the big question is, when it comes to online marketing, is how do we open up channels of communication that we're actually then going to need in the sales process? So collecting the right information. But there is a bit of an issue with that, because if we ask everybody that's coming through our normal lead generation process online to provide us their phone number and other information, we start to turn people off. The conversion rate goes down. And that's an issue, because we're taking people away from the platform that they are on. We're taking them away. If you imagine, certainly with Facebook, we are actually interrupting their flow. We're showing up based on our targeting of our advertising, and we're showing up and we're presenting a message to them that's trying to get them to move, to go and do something. Okay. Now, that sounds okay, but just bear in mind, you're interrupting them. And more importantly, you're actually taking them away from the very platform that they're actually on. So the question is, how do you actually do this without needing to take them away from Facebook? And instead, you can use something called Facebook lead ads, which is what this is all about. A simple process within Facebook to collect the information with a simple form that actually I'll go into more detail about this in a few moments, but collects all the information for you right within Facebook. Now, think about that for a second. If you now, for your business, don't need to set up a landing page, set up and buy, design that page, write the copy for that page, set the tracking up on that page. And, you know, quite honestly, with Facebook advertising, there's a lot of things that you do actually need to set up through the traditional approach. You do need to have some kind of page building platform like ClickFunnels or Lead Pages. And you are going to also need probably a CRM autoresponder as well. And that's going to have to be hooked into the page. And you're going to need to put the HTML on the page. Very confusing, of course. You're going to need to track how many people convert from getting to the page and opting in. All of these things, you know, take time to set up, and that you need a team. You need a team of people to be able to do that. What we're talking about here is a way to really absolve the need for any of those things so that you can get started super fast. Now, the real benefit with Facebook lead ads is it really causes very little friction for the people that are engaging with your advertising. And the way that works is Facebook, because it already has all of the data, all of the profile information, all of the contact information for the people that are on their own platform, Facebook will actually help you, which means when you ask them to fill in a form inside Facebook, it will actually pre-populate all the information that it has on that person. It will pre-populate their name. It will pre-populate their phone number. And in most cases, that is the case. Most people have their phone number synced with Facebook for security purposes or for login information. Now, that tells you something, because the information that often you get from different landing pages outside the platform, when somebody actually has to key all of that information in, sometimes can be wildly inaccurate. You actually get bad quality leads. And that in itself is a problem. And so by using Facebook lead ads, the accuracy of that data capture is going to be perfect. Or in most cases, it's going to be more or less there, because that's the information that Facebook already has on its users. And probably most importantly of all, Facebook wants to provide the best experience for its users. So obviously, it is monetized by an advertising platform. That's fair to say. However, they typically like to keep people within their own platform. And the benefit with Facebook lead ads is you can generate the lead within the platform, so you and actually not take them away from Facebook to enter in their contact information into the opt-in form, which is pretty cool, right? So why would you do this? Well, of course, there's no landing page setup. You don't need a landing page, squeeze page, so you don't have to worry about that. All the tracking is done by Facebook. So now you don't have to worry about expensive software that you may already be paying for. You don't have to worry about technical things like Google Analytics. It's all done through Facebook, and it's super accurate because and we still run different types of Facebook advertisement, don't get me wrong, through the traditional methods, but often the tracking is off. It's difficult for them to computate the accuracy of the leads effectively, but with Facebook lead ads, that's different. It's a one-to-one relationship. Of course, the prospect's information is also pre-filled by Facebook. Also, super easy for you, and it's super accurate as well. And in a lot of cases, done the right way, you can actually halve your lead cost by using Facebook lead ads, which is pretty cool, isn't it? So it's definitely something worth trying. And what we're going to talk about a little bit later is beginning with the end in mind, thinking about our sales process, thinking about opening up as part of the lead generation process, collecting more information from your leads. You can actually open up text messaging as a follow-up platform, because now it's much easier to ask for and get the right information to follow up with people, because you are able to get people's phone number, which is super helpful for you. And the other real secret sauce is that, unlike a usual opt-in form that's on every landing page under the sun, really what Facebook lead ads enables you to do is simply and easily be able to segment people on the front end by asking certain qualifying questions, which with a few taps on their mobile device, they're able to enter. Again, removing all of that friction, making it super easy for them to get the information that they want in exchange for the information that they're providing, but also giving you rich profile information on every single lead that's coming towards you so that you can follow up more effectively. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that, when it comes to follow up, having that segmentation set up in the right way allows you to be more like a sniper rifle than a shotgun. It's the difference between spraying and praying and being hyper targeted. It's just that usually when you go to market to actually go and set this stuff up, the technicalities of doing it in the right way makes it more difficult for you. With Facebook lead ads, you don't have to worry about it. So what I'm going to take you through next is a step-by-step guide, and I'm going to talk you through each individual part of that. Now, I appreciate that you may want to actually text us so that you can get the slides, which is pretty cool. You can just I'll leave the number on the slides as we go through, but you can just text FB to 858-256-7768. You get the slides, you get the guide, and you'll be able to go ahead and put this to work in your business. And we're literally going to go through this in the Ads Manager step by step. So you don't have to go into the Ads Manager right now while we're doing this. That might be a little bit crazy, but doing it just by texting us, you're going to get this guide, no problems. So first things first, this probably is familiar to you. This is the Advertising Manager platform within Facebook. I won't tell you how to get there, but it's super easy. Go to business.facebook.com. But in terms of if you haven't set one up before, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You can go and figure that out. It's pretty straightforward. But the first thing that you need to do is click on Add a Campaign. It's a good place to start. Now, the next step that you're going to get to is them asking you, what is your marketing objective for this particular campaign that you're setting up? Now, a lot of people who are running Facebook advertising will be either running some form of link post ad. Now, What that means is that they're linking out of Facebook, and there are different objectives that are being used. For us, we commonly use conversions because we want Facebook to optimize their algorithm for conversions, for numbers of leads, which is obviously what we want. And in some cases, we may also do a traffic consideration to drive as many clicks to a website as possible. That also is an objective. What we want to do is click on lead generation. You'll notice it doesn't clearly say Facebook lead ads, and nor does it give you any indication of how powerful this is. So that's why I'm here to guide you through it. So lead generation is what you want to click. You then want to name your campaign. Pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated here, all very straightforward. And this is literally as you're going to see it, as you do it, this is what you're going to see. Now, the next step is you are going to accept the terms for your page. This is the very next screen that you see. And there's something very important that you need to know. You need to accept Facebook's terms that it's okay to use Facebook lead ads in your business. Very straightforward. You click on view terms and then accept them. That's it. 2 clicks and you're done. Then you're into setting up your targeting. Now, for those of you that have run Facebook advertising before, this should be quite straightforward to you. Obviously, there's a whole lot of targeting options within Facebook. That's not what this webinar is about. Maybe we can come back and revisit that another time. But really here, we want to focus on setting our targeting, whatever that may be, demographic, psychographic, interest-based, all the power that comes with Facebook lead ads. There's nothing new to see here as far as the platform of Facebook lead ads is concerned. It's all pretty straightforward. And then you go ahead and select what ad creative that you want to use. Now, with Facebook lead ads, you've got the option of using different formats. You can use carousel, single image, video, slideshow. We still like image-based ads for things that are like lead ads. If we're not using images, then we'll often use single video because there is some things that you can do with building an audience off people that have actually seen your ad, which is quite cool, so that then you can begin to market to them. But very simply put here, you either want to choose single image or single video. Okay. The next thing is to then set up your copy, your actual creative elements to the actual ad itself. In this example, what we're doing is, for GTIC, in this example, we're driving people towards getting access to growth hack number 1, which is all about lost customer reactivation. And what I've done for you here is just giving you a little bit of insight into how we structure our advertisements and what you should think about as well. So a compelling headline, we like to use this square brackets there to indicate what sort of device it is that they're going to download. So if it's a video, we put free video in there. If it's a free report, we might put free report in there. You get the point. And then you want to back that straight up with what the key benefit is for them. Okay. So again, this training isn't necessarily about using the all of the different messaging that you could put into Facebook. It's really more about the mechanical process of getting this set up in the right way. But I just wanted to show you this. In any case, in terms of ad text, you want to start with a question, because that's going to build rapport. It's going to move people towards you, then address some level of time sensitivity before it goes away. And you want to detail the offer of what it is that they're actually getting. And then you want to tell them what to do next. Okay. Now, the reason why this is also quite important, especially when it comes down to the actual call to action, you do want to reference that they can just immediately download it by clicking the button below, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, with Facebook lead ads, as far as the devices are concerned, that you can run this on. You can run it on desktop, and you can also run it to mobile devices as well. Our advice when doing this is to run Facebook lead ads to mobile. Now, the reason why that is not just because predominantly most of Facebook traffic is mobile anyway. We generally find that you're going to get cheaper leads with mobile, and the user experience is actually a lot nicer with Facebook lead ads, because it is literally 3 taps from seeing the advert to them entering in their information to actually get a lead into your system so that you can begin the follow-up process, which is pretty cool. The next thing that you want to do is create a new form. Now, Facebook makes this super easy. You click new form and then simply follow these 3 steps. Name the form. 2, you want to toggle off the welcome screen. And the reason why that is because we don't want them seeing kind of a splash screen before they have to enter their information. The more steps that we put in front of people, we find it reduces conversion. So for us, there's a very systematic way of setting this up. Name the form, turn the toggle to off, and then click on the questions arrow. And by the way, if you're watching this so far, you're thinking, yeah, okay, this is great. This is like step by step, perfect for me. And you're like, okay, well, I'm obviously not following this. I'm obviously giving the context. I'm just leaving the text number on there so you can text anytime and we'll get these slides over to you. The next thing is really important. You actually want to uncheck email, which is selected by default, and then recheck it. Okay. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because it's actually going to move the email to be the second option. So again, we just find, and we've just tested lots of things with this, that by doing this and moving their email down to the bottom, we get better conversion. So just model what works. It's pretty easy. And then next, you want to click more options. And this is where things get really cool, because what you're able to do is you can now select any contact information to add to the form that Facebook already has in its system. And if it has it, it will pre-populate it for you. So imagine how useful or beneficial this might be, for example, to include their phone number. Okay. Again, remember, if we need their phone number as part of the sales process, then using Facebook lead ads is a great way to get there, as opposed to the traditional method of taking them to a landing page for the benefits that we've already spoke about before. But of course, there's lots of other cool information that we can get from here. We can actually put company name on there as well onto your form. And again, if that person's got company information with Facebook or is an admin of a Facebook page, it will pull that through, which is great for us, because now we can get additional profile questions as part of the data capture process that is pre-filled from Facebook. They're helping us out, which is super nice of them. Now, here's where things start to get really, really good for us, because this is a frictionless process, if that's even a word. You can now start to add custom questions to these ads. And this makes it very easy for the person to select with really a painless process. Usually, if you were sending somebody out to a landing page to get all of this information, you'd probably have to break the page into a step 1 and step 2 to ask this information. But of course, this may be very valuable to you. So in GKIC's case, we're saying, which best describes you? Okay, I'm a bricks and mortar business. I'm a coach, trainer, consultant, agency. And this is where this segmentation comes in, because you see, when it comes to the follow-up process, what we're now able to do is sift and sort those people that we want to talk to differently. Remember, going back to the analogy of the shotgun versus the sniper rifle, we're going to be talking about the challenges, frustrations, concerns and the way that we can solve those problems and talk to them very directly to have more of a message to market match when we know who the hell they are. And that's a lot more difficult to do usually with normal advertising, but doing it this way just feels good. It's all within the platform. It's super slick and easy. Now, next question, which certainly would help us segment people further, would be not just what type of business owner are they, what sort of business they're in, but actually what would actually help them most. So in GKIC's case, do they want step-by-step training, a bit like this training we're doing now? Or do they want done-for-you services? Or do they want coaching? And each one of those, of course, maps to different products lines, different parts of the product catalog, different services that we offer. It may show propensity for them to invest more in one thing than the other, which is great. We wouldn't usually be able to get this information. And then the third question we can add in there, which is, again, from a permission-based marketing standpoint, is, can we text you the report? So can we text this report to you? We're saying you can download it, which is great. Obviously, we're asking them, if you remember from the earlier step, to get their phone number. So can we text you the report? Yes or no? It's really that simple. And then the final part, which is I wanted to include just for compliance purposes, obviously, is you'll want to click on the privacy policy. Now, this is usually, when you come to implement this stuff for your own business, this is usually the thing that, one of those things, should I say, that people get hung up on. It's really super easy. Okay, nothing complex here. Just click on privacy policy, type in policy in the link text, and then use the URL that's already on your website with your own privacy policy or terms and conditions. It really is that easy. Okay, so there's nothing more to it than that. And then finally, you can set the thank you screen that they're going to see. As you can see the example on the right here, that once they actually have submitted that information to you, what it actually looks like on Facebook. And again, as we the whole process shows, we're not taking them outside of the platform. Everything is within the platform itself, which really increases conversions, reduces lead costs, and makes things not just easy for us to set up, but also easy for somebody to give you the information for the value that they want. Here's the thing, though, that if we want to then tell them that they can go and schedule a consultation with us, take them to our website to view testimonials, whatever we want to do to now link out of Facebook itself, we can put a link there that can tell them to go and visit our site, and we can determine what that link will be. Now, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Because now they've been through the process of all those small micro commitments of giving us the information, giving us everything we need. Now we're at liberty to tell what destination they're going to go to afterwards. Now, of course, they may click off this and go back into Facebook, which is fine. But we can also potentially push them into a Facebook Messenger process here by starting a ManyChat URL, which is pretty cool as well. That's slightly more advanced than probably for another training, but it's cool nevertheless. Now, here's the thing. Once you've got all of this information, all of this profile information, with a few taps, they've given you everything, their contact information to follow up. We've got their phone number. We've got that segmentation stuff. What do we do with it? And that's really where this little tool called SyncSumo comes in very handy. Now, there are a couple of other tools that I should mention here as well. Plus, this also does that. Plus, this also does this if you are an Infusionsoft user, and also Fix Your Funnel also does this with their new sync feature as well. But what this enables you to do is sync all of that information with your autoresponder. So, if you use Mailchimp, some of you may do, or Entreport or Infusionsoft, GetResponse, Aweber, all of the major platforms, you're actually able to register all of that information into those CRM systems very easily. It's super, super easy to do. With inside the platform, pretty much all the platforms are very similar to this, regardless of which one you choose. And I'll summarize them at the end of the webinar. Here's what we want to do. The page is GKIC. The lead ad is called the Growth Hacks template. And I want you to add all that information into my CRM system. And if you're on the call and you're like, well, I don't have a CRM system either, that's cool too. You can just simply say, send me an email with all their information so I can follow up. Pretty straightforward, right? Cool. So I hope everybody's with me so far. But the thing that some of you may be beginning to realize here, that the power that comes with being able to be extremely targeted with that information in your automated follow-up system after they've given you that information is super valuable, because you can now talk to people extremely directly. You can have a conversation with them, albeit in an automated way, and really start to increase engagement and consumption of your value that you're giving because of the very fact that we've got that information. Now, if you decide not to be that sophisticated, totally get it. That's cool. But if you're more advanced, then of course, now you've got that information to do a really good job with your follow-up. And of course, what it opens out is this real, this new era, should I put it, of mobile marketing. And we are really in the era now of addressing our messages on multiple platforms, not just with email. There is a real benefit to text messaging and actually following your leads up through text messages. And here's a couple of examples how we do that. So a few years back now, I was speaking at the 2000, I think it was 15, no, it was 16. Yeah, it was a year ago, 2016 Super Conference. And at that event, I took people's contact information from stage. Okay. Now, what I did then was to those people, because I knew that the following year I would be speaking at Super Conference in Orlando, which if you haven't been to one, you certainly should do. And I served them this advert because I got their information. But I used a Facebook lead ad to actually get people into a strategy session with me. And within 2 ticks, what they could click, they could actually then, this is exactly the way it's presented, from ad to, in this case, we did use a welcome screen because we did want to define some things for the people that were interested in taking us up on the offer. And then all of my information was pre-populated. This example isn't me filling it in. This was pre-filled for me when I requested the consultation. And in this case, what we wanted to do was actually have a conversation with somebody so that they could we wanted to get them to schedule a strategy session with me at the event, and we wanted to then have a conversation with them. So guess what? We need their phone number, and we also are using this question at the top, which says, can we text you a link to schedule? Now, we know that's going to have a super high conversion, a super high open rate, right? Because people are going to get that text message and they're going to click that more so than getting mixed up in the shuffle of life like we always do with emails when we request things. I mean, I don't know about you, about how many free PDF reports or lead magnets you've downloaded from other people, and they just sit somewhere in your inbox. They don't really do everything. This, through 3 steps, we've got all the information that we need to have a meaningful conversation with somebody, which is really good. Here's another example of somebody registering for one of our webinars. So if you run webinars in your business, you can also use Facebook lead ads for this as well. So again, all the information is pre-filled. And then instead this time we're actually asking them a question, which is, it just feels okay to do this because it makes it easy for them. And, we're shortening sales cycles here. By doing this. So we're asking them the question to allowing themselves to self-select, would you like to speak to an advisor? Because you just don't know when people are going to be ready to speak to you. There are going to be people where you do need to nurture them, where you do need to build a relationship with them. But some people are ready to go today in your business. And my guess might be, if you're doing Facebook advertising right now, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You are prolonging and protracting that sales cycle, because quite honestly, you're not asking them, do you want to have a conversation about this now? Do you want to speak to us today? That's a lot more difficult when you're doing online advertising, the traditional way of sending people to landing pages. Doing it this way makes it super easy, and we get the information that we need. And what makes the text messaging aspect of this so much more powerful, which, was a bit cumbersome to ask for all that information in the past, to get that mobile information is so important, because now, if we know that they're responding to a Facebook lead ad on their mobile phone, okay, when we ask them if it's okay for us to deliver our value to them via text message, they're already on that device. So there's a congruency between the response mechanism and the delivery mechanism, meaning, again, we're really making this so easy for them to take the next step with us. We're not making this difficult. We already know they're on a mobile phone, so they're going to they're certainly, in most cases, when you ask somebody in one of those lead ads, we found that it's about an 85% take-up rate of somebody saying, yes, you can text me a link, or yes, send me that video through text message, not through email, through text message. Now, don't get me wrong, you're also getting all of the contact information as well, but the congruency is such a big thing here. And we've really started to see this change the shape of how a lot of people are actually selling these days. Now, I'm sure you've heard about automated webinars and how cool they are, et cetera, et cetera. That is still the case. But what we found in some industries and some people that we're actually working with, we're actually having much better luck by doing this, putting an advert on Facebook that is a Facebook lead ad that leads people through to giving us all their contact information that's all pre-filled, super easy. And then we say, would you like the video instantly text to you? Yes or no? Most people take that option. We've got all the information. More importantly, we're compliant. We've got permission to market to them through text messages, and we can use a service like Fix Your Funnel, which makes it super easy to hook into your autoresponder to send these text messages out to give people what they want in the way that they want it. Okay, not just what they want, but in the way that they want it and what's easiest for them to consume, because we already know that they're on that device, which is great. Now, this is really that 6-step lead ad to ad conversion funnel, lead ad conversion funnel that we're talking about here, that they see the ad, they fill in the lead ad form, we send them the text message, in this case to watch a video. That then, because we've got their phone number, we know that they've watched the video. We can look at some consumption tracking of the video if we want it to be sophisticated. Or if you're in a business and thinking, well, I don't have the means to set that system up in the back end, that's cool. You've got all of their information, and you can take it upon yourself to reach out to them, to close them on the call, shorten the sales cycle, or have a conversation with them to move them further forward towards, making a decision. And if they don't, then you can continue to nurture them. And guess what? You're not just able to nurture them through email, but now, because you've got the right information up front, it's okay to market to them through different modalities with text message, with phone calls, that you wouldn't have been able to do. And like we just said right back at the beginning there, how many of you actually need to speak to somebody on the phone? Quite a lot of people, right? So that is why this is super valuable. Now, what I wanted to do was just kind of pull back the curtain just a little bit further and show you what that kind of looks like. And, if you've requested the slides here, we'll make them available to you. Here's kind of an overview of that when step 1, they fill out the lead ad. Step 2, they provide the information. And then there's a follow-up process that we automate through Infusionsoft that makes this super easy. So in the top one, where they say, yes, we can text you a link, we actually send them a link to the video through text message, and we also do it through email, and then there's a follow-up process. If no, then that's fine, we'll just follow up with them through email. Okay, so that multi-touch, multi-step process still applies, that we all know works extremely well. But by doing it this way, we've now got an additional modality that leads people through then to allowing us to do more sophisticated things in the back-end system. In this case, we can then text them a link to actually ask them, because we know that they went through and watched the video. Cool. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you? And then they can actually text back, because the text messaging platform is a two-way system, to tell you, and then you can follow up with those people. And if your job then is to try and get those people on the phone, then you can schedule a call with several follow-ups to then move them forward. And because you've got that text messaging as an angle, you can reach out to people to get them to schedule, or you can just follow up with them through text message and email to get them to schedule, which is pretty cool. In fact, although I would certainly say, just as a bit of a disclaimer, these results are not typical, albeit some of the people that work with us, they pay us a good deal of money. So it's a big investment to work with us. But some of the results they get are great. And this was indicative of that one of the businesses using this exact technique generated $40,000 worth of new business per month within 3 months. So in doing this process, they not only reduced their sales staff from 6 people to just 1, because they were dealing with more qualified people, and those people were giving them the information that they needed to actually make a sale, but they actually also decreased their advertising costs and actually had a 10x return on it, because we were able to be a lot more by using lead ads itself. We actually reduced the cost of the advertising that it would normally be, but also we generated the right leads for them, which allowed us to focus and target people a lot better. And it also meant that we halved the number of outbound sales calls, because we didn't necessarily, we know who it is that we want to speak to, and those people that we don't need to speak to, those people that are ready to buy today, they're the people that we want to reach out to. And just through this device, I would put it, through this technique, whatever you want to call it, using Facebook lead ads, it allows you to do that. This is the further context and the further benefit to using this. And probably, the ideal scenario, of course, is that you're having more of your ideal customers show up. And that was definitely the case for them, which allowed them to get some fantastic results. So I promised you that I'd share with you some of those tools that we use. We're a big component of Infusionsoft, obviously. And not only are we obviously certified partners, and I'm a trusted advisor, and we do a lot of work with Infusionsoft directly, but we also believe in the system. So we use Infusionsoft, but regardless, I don't want that to be something that's a hold up for you, that when you get this step by step from us here and you follow the process that I've laid out here, don't let that be an issue. Regardless of whatever system you've got, even if you wanted a free system like Drip, for example, it's free for the first 100 subscribers, go and get it. And you can be generating leads literally today. And then, of course, to do the pass back of that information into your database, your CRM system, Fix Your Funnel works great, and also SyncSumo. So again, if you want to get my slides and you want to get that step-by-step, super easy. You can just text FB to 858-256-7768, and we will get you hooked up with that step-by-step training that we've been through. So I hope that this has been insightful, and that you've learned something new that you didn't know before, certainly if you've been running Facebook advertising, and that if you haven't been running Facebook advertising, you've now got something concrete, something that's step-by-step, that literally can walk you through the whole process. So that's it for me. I hope that you have enjoyed what we've had to talk about here, and look forward to speaking to everybody again next time.
Hey, Hallie, really appreciate it. I know we had some bumps there along the way, but we want to make sure that we get good value to everybody. I know that some people wanted your slides. There's the ability to text. because we had some bumps, we'll make sure that we take care of everybody. We're always looking to provide as much value as possible. Those people that really want to spend a lot of time with Ollie, want to learn more about all things lead generation. Really, Ollie, you're going to be speaking. In fact, you're kicking off Info Summit. So Info Summit will be the place to be. It's going to be the preeminent place for those that want to learn more about it. I just put some information or a click onto the right of your screen. But Ali, you're going to be speaking at least a couple times, as well as hosting a roundtable at Info Summit. So all people that really want to learn about how to drive leads, you don't have to be an information marketer. It's really about all things marketing at the Info Summit. And it's really just using content to drive your marketing, which is what we're really advocates about. Being at the Info Summit in Cleveland will be the place to be. So Ollie will be on stage a number of times. Are you going deeper on this subject, or what are you covering?
Yeah, well, it's I'm always in a quandary, as you know it, when it comes to speaking at Super Conference and certainly Info Summit, because info marketing plays such a huge part in our own business with our clients, obviously. But I'm an absolute believer of info marketing, and when it comes down to what I'm actually going to talk about, there's so many things I'm going to share. I think I'm really going to give a highlight reel of probably the top maybe 10 or 12 strategies that are working right now in information marketing that we're getting fantastic results with, and providing not just the case studies, but similar kind of step-by-step that we've talked about here that I think people will get a lot of value from. But if I could just say something, Nick, I think I, as you know it, I remember the time well. I remember my first Info Summit, right? And
Okay.
And I remember it for a number of reasons. A couple I'm going to leave out of the conversation, but a couple which hopefully will impress upon some of the people that are listening to this now. And quite frankly, I'm really no different to anyone else listen to this right now. I've picked up so many different things from attending events like that I've actually gone away and managed to implement that have really had a big impact on my business and on my own development as well. So I think attending these events is like, one of the first things that you should do if you haven't done this. Coming to an event is an absolute must to really kind of commit to yourself and your own business, your own future. That you want to move yourself forward from wherever you are. And I know for me, it made a big difference to me, which I'm, obviously extremely grateful for.
Well, so there's some folks that are asking. Info Summit is October 23rd to the 27th. And it's in Cleveland. And if you just go to gkic.com/events or just gkic.com or click over to the link that's on the right, that'd be wonderful. One of the things that also, if you really liked if you aren't a member of GKIC, I highly recommend that you become a member. I know, Ali, you've been a longtime member of ours. All you need to do for a 2-month free trial is just go to gkic.com. On there, there's a slider. Just click on that. Give us some information. We'll send you a ton of goodies. Ali is a monthly contributor, so he's in there. We talk about all things marketing, all things sales, all things conversion. So if you're not a member of ours and want to just give us a trial. So this is like I don't know if you guys have them in England or overseas or international for the international folks, but it's like going to Costco, baby. And if you go to Costco, you go up and down the aisles and there's samplers there, and you want to try power bars, or you want to try filet mignon, or they even let you in America. I don't know if they do that in England, but you could sample Rolex watches, right? So you could wear it no, you can't do that. I know you're a watch fan, but it's just give us 2 months. Let us earn your trust. Let us show you how much value you get. Just go to gkic.com and become a member for a couple months and just try us out and let us earn your earn your keep, so to speak. So if you want to be a member, we'd love to have you as a member. We're here to provide service. We're here to provide value. We bring all of these things to you. We're always looking for the best and the brightest, and always on the top of this list. And we're always doing these type of webinars. We realize this one got off a little bumpy. We apologize about that. We'll take care of that on the back end for the people that have been asking questions. There's a couple questions, Ollie, that we want to ask, if that's okay. So one of the questions I thought was an interesting one was, there was a person that asked, is there a certain number of likes that I need to have before I can start advertising?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It really doesn't matter. What you do need to have is you need to have a Facebook page, a business page, or a fan page. Really, a few clicks and you can easily set one of those up. That's what's actually going to serve your advert on Facebook. That's what people are going to see that the advert is coming from, that it's a sponsored advert. But that page doesn't need to have a number or a history or anything like that at all. You can really get started without any of that.
Okay. Another question I thought was an interesting one was, what's the tool you use for the text messaging exchange?
So there's a number of different platforms. What we find to be the easiest and simplest to use is called Fix Your Funnel.
Right.
And Fix Your Funnel allows that two-way messaging to have a conversation. For those of you that may have been at Super Conference earlier this year, I gave a talk all about conversation starters and starting conversations with people through text messages, so that then they could then lead them into a sales conversation on the actual telephone. That platform does a great job of that in making that work for you.
Okay. We use, full disclosure, we're a huge fan of Fix Your Funnel. We use it for a number of different things. I just interviewed Ryan Chapman. I know you know Ryan, super great guy, longtime member, very active in the community. If everybody wants to get a copy of that interview, if you're not a member, just email us at support, become a member for 2 months, and I'll throw that extra bonus in of me interviewing Ryan Chapman. He's got a lot of great stuff to say. It really was an awesome interview. So if you want that, just become a member, and we'll throw that bonus on. Just email us at support@GKIC. All right. So another one, you may not be able to answer this, but I can. Are you familiar with Active Campaign? If so, what do you think? I don't know if you're familiar with them, Ollie. We're obviously huge fans of Infusionsoft. We advocate for them. They are part of our DNA. They're part of our lineage. They present at a lot of events. We know the folks at Active Campaign. It's an interesting platform. It's certainly not as robust as Infusionsoft from my perspective, but they're out of Chicago, and we actually have met them face to face and know them and know the platform. I don't know, Ollie, if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it used to be the case, Nick, that people would, not necessarily see the full value of Infusionsoft immediately when they were shopping around looking at the different options, because they thought that, albeit as we know, it's the Rolls-Royce system.
Right.
And so they maybe thought, maybe this is about my price range, maybe it's a bit complicated, etc., etc. Well, the best thing is now Infusionsoft have a very light edition of their software, which really now really makes it a no-brainer for anybody to get involved with. So if they were considering other platforms before, like Active Campaign or like Entreport or like Drip, actually now Infusionsoft are playing in the same price point, which just makes it even more of a complete no-brainer to get started with.
Okay, another thought I had was that so there's somebody's trying to set up a one-on-one meeting. I don't know if that's with you, with me, or with everybody on the call. So we'll let that one slide there. But so you can figure that out. This is an interesting one. It's from Scott. It's lead magnets for mobile more effective in a form other than a case study, ebook, or a written document?
Yeah, so there's I think there's probably two parts to that question. One is the mobile element. So just to just hamper on about that, Facebook lead ads is extremely effective for mobile advertising on Facebook. That's number one. Okay. Second, in terms of the offer that you're actually presenting on there, what works best? I do like case study videos, specifically videos that you can deliver and capture the information through Facebook lead ads. That's good. Honestly, though, I still feel that a lead magnet needs to be easily digestible, easy to consume, and solves a very specific problem. And for that, I feel that something that's more like a checklist or a guide in a PDF is, for me, still the best. We still have the best results, the lowest cost per lead in doing that. But obviously it depends on your business. It depends what you're leading people towards. Video isn't everybody's thing, albeit, it's certainly something that they should focus on. But we find still that getting people in with something that's highly valuable but easily to consume, like a checklist or a report, still works extremely well.
All right. That's an interesting one because there's always a lot of conflict on that. And, I think the best answer is to test, right? And test a number of different lead magnets and, different formats and that type of thing. But I think you even said, how many times have you opted in for lead magnets and you really haven't taken any action on it? So, we all, the best thing to do is test in your marketplace and see what people respond to. Here's a pretty good one. I think we may have covered this. I think and if it's just covered, we'll refer back to the slides in the presentation, which we're going to send out to everybody. But, how do you capture emails when using Facebook lead ads?
How do you protect your emails, did you say?
How do you capture emails?
Oh, okay, great. So, really, Facebook lead ads allows you to have a normal field that's email, and that's just like an email field that you'd usually see on an opt-in form traditionally, and they simply enter their email. But more than not, you'll find that your email, the email of the person, is actually pre-populated for themselves from Facebook, so they don't often enter it in. That's what makes Facebook lead ads so great, because the information's pre-populated, it's accurate, generally it's their real email, not one of 10 that they've got. Sure. And that's also extremely helpful and reason why you should also consider lead ads.
All right. So a lot of great questions. One is we certainly we want to respect everybody's time. We appreciate you being here. A couple things just to kind of recap. We realized it was bumpy in the beginning. We're going to be sending out a link with the presentation for everyone. We thank you. Two is, hey, ride along with us. If you want to be a member, give us a trial. There you get to see Ali as well as all of our great contributors. Dan Kennedy, our CEO, does a column every month. I do it on sales. If you want to be a member, just go to gkic.com, and there you'll be able to become a member and give us a 2-month trial and let us earn your keep, so to speak. If you want to see more of Ali and all of our presenters and want to learn more on Facebook, we have 2 people going deep on Facebook. We're talking about Facebook Messenger bots, not dots. We have all things lead generation. Then you need to get yourself to Info Summit. Info Summit is October 23rd through 27th in lovely Cleveland. Yes, that's Cleveland, Ohio, for those of you that are coming from international. Ali's going to be there. He's going to be kicking it off. We got a lot of great stuff planned. This event is people love it. It's all things lead generation, all things, how do I convert my leads? How do I get more leads in my system? If you want to be an information marketer, and what does that mean? Just using content in your marketing, much like what Ali does in his 3 businesses that he kind of talked about in the beginning. He's using information for lead generation. He's using information to drive the sales process and to maybe nurture leads along the way. You got to get yourself to Info Summit. Just visit us online at gksc.com. I believe there's a link that you can click off to the right and just talk a little bit about Info Summit. You can learn about it. It's a great event, and we look forward to be there. Ali, it's I don't know, what time is it in the UK? It's about 10 o'clock at night or something?
Well, yeah, about 9:45.
Yep. So we're going to let you, knowing you probably still got about 3 to 4 more hours of work, but maybe I'll let you tuck your kids in and get them to sleep. But thank you for your time. I'll see you in a couple months, mate. And everybody that stayed on to the end, we want to thank you once again. I gave you some free bonuses on this. Just if you're going to become a member, ping our support team, and they'll get you those bonuses. And we look forward to have you at Info Summit. Thanks, everybody. Take care, all.